Just waiting for my mother-in-law to go to the doctors. But for those that are going to be watching the replay, tell me where you're watching from. Those that are about to jump into live, thank you for carving out that time of your day. We are live on Twitch, which I don't think Twitch supports portrait, but we'll see. For those just jumping, we are in Ala Moana Beach Park. This is kind of a well-known beach spot in town. You may recognize Diamond Head in the background. Do me a favor, for those that are in the live, tell us where you're watching from, what city, what state, what country. Would love to acknowledge you and your location. I just flew my drone, did a couple of shots. I posted one video. Well, I didn't post it up yet, but I posted no video. But I took some video, went out maybe about, I don't know, 400 feet or so. Hey, Al, how are you? I forgot how beautiful Ala Moana is, man. If you guys not following Al, make sure you follow Al in Paradise. It used to be Al in Tokyo. Hi, Shirley from California. Good to see you. It's a different animal being out on town side. I spent 20 plus years on the windward side, and being out here on Honolulu town side is definitely much different. How's my wind noise? There's a lot of breeze, but it's blowing from the east, so hopefully it's not hitting my mic. I have a mic on, so figuring a little coconut tree for my opening shot. I'm gonna be doing a little bit more ministry based TikToks and broadcast in the next couple of days. Is it hot here? Yes. Well, it's good hot. There's a good breeze. There's some people surfing out there. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. My phone can zoom in. Small waves today. Nothing major. It's right around 1:15 here, so the sun is like right above us. But there's a guy behind me. He's doing, I guess, he does surf lessons. I'll show you guys. I'll turn my camera around. So right behind me. Hey Saki, how are you? I hope you enjoy yourself, Shirley. It's Hawaii is very slow to opening up. It's really sad. Hi, Tacy. I feel really bad for the small businesses that, without getting all political on it, but Hawaii really took a long time to start opening up, and it almost seems deliberate. Like all of your big businesses never shut down. I think they shut down for like 1 week, if even that. Your Costco's, your all your major department stores, Target, Walmart, they all stayed open. Where it's a small business. So in Maui, I'm really hoping and praying that some of those businesses are able to bounce back. So you just woke up. Well, good morning. If you guys are not following Saki, just a Japanese girl. She does broadcasts out there in Japan, and she is a very unique broadcaster. Just some of the things she does is just, it's kind of a variety. It's really refreshing. It is tough, right? Like it makes you wonder why did it take so long to open up. I mean, yeah, it makes the masses reliant on the government for funding. Is what it does, really. And when your small businesses cannot hang with it, then they have to shut down or retire early. So we're live on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. I think Twitch. I'm not sure if Twitch allows vertical broadcasting, so I'm not quite sure. And then of course we're on Haps. Hey Brett, things are good, man. I'm actually waiting for my mother-in-law. I just dropped off at the doctor, which is literally like one street over that way. So I gotta wait for as soon as she calls, then I'm gonna go pick her up. So family is good. I just did some drone shots here. I tried to get a couple more videos, but it's just there's way too much helicopters here. There's a lot going on. Like there's just so much. There's a lot of tourist activities out in the water. I wish I could have got some shots, but my oldest daughter, we're trying to plan for her to get back to Boston, but it's been a challenge in some areas just because of the living situation or the or room and board and all that. So it's been kind of a challenge to get her back over there, and she wants to get an apartment. So we may do that where she can get an apartment, not have to worry too much about. We're not living in fear as far as the COVID, but just not everybody has the same best practices when it comes to hygiene. You know, so Boston is beautiful. I'm really I was really impressed with it. I really was. And the food, you can't beat the food in Boston is amazing. I love seafood, the oysters, the just the availability of the lobster and the oysters is just unparalleled. Really, when you think about it, there's not a lot of cities that can offer what they have as far as seafood. That type of seafood, like Hawaii, we've got really good seafood here, but we can't really get the lobster. One thing when we get it, it's usually a couple of days out, or it's like it's sitting in an aquarium for a while. It's not the same. What's up, Brian? Gee, how you doing, bro? Are you having a good day? I hear the population in Texas is expanding quite a bit. Hey, Sean, how are you, man? Good to see you. It's a fairly empty beach on a Wednesday afternoon, which is what I like. Enjoying the rain. I've got some very dear friends out there in Texas, in West. I think it's West Texas, and of course Oklahoma. I hear California is getting quite expensive to live, and and it's interesting that you would think it's just one, but there's a lot of people from different cities moving out of California. You all right? You know, Texas is open carry, and they're also concealed carry state. Correct, Brian? They're both open carry and concealed carry. A lot of people are moving from Texas, due in part is because of California. California has one of the highest tax rates in the nation, if not the highest. I bet Sydney's expensive. If you want to compare cities, I'm sure there's cities that are pretty expensive. One of my good friends, they moved out of California like 10 years ago. They seen it coming, and they moved to Vegas. So it's fairly close to California, where they used to live, but they still do business in California. It's just that the taxes in Vegas are much better than it is in California. So, but yeah, the reason why I was asking that, Brian, is that depending who's moving from California to Texas, it makes me wonder what type of folks are moving to uh, Texas. Tesla and Hewlett Packard left California and came into. Yeah, they're trying to get a break on their taxes, right? If they're not careful as far as on the federal level, Texas is one of those states that could very easily make a decision to pull out from the union, which means they would be a self-sustaining country if they really wanted to, they could. They have enough people, they have enough resources, and they have a port. So Dow Jones, I did not know that. So I did a firearms training last weekend, Brian, and I'm excited because I'm gonna be in the market for some firearms, and it's for the simple initially it's for the simple purpose of home protection and for family reasons. I think eventually, depending on how the laws are here, I would like to be able to go and do more than just keep it in my home. Tax Australia is the same as everywhere. It doesn't matter if you live in Sydney, Perth, or Melbourne. Gotcha. Yeah, I was so blessed, Brian, to be able to fire a good amount of firearms, not rifles, but handguns. Um, I do not want to carry, but it is something that for years, surely here in Hawaii, I don't think it's necessary, but you just never know. Yeah, for home defense. There was a time in my life, surely, where I had tried to become a police officer here in Hawaii, and that didn't quite work out. The truth is, there are people out there that would not have restraint when it comes to harming other people. The revolvers are very. I had a hard time finding a revolver last weekend. I was not very comfortable with the action, the double action. You know, uh, home invasions in Hawaii is a lot worse than people realize. You think Hawaii, this is what you see, but the truth is, we have drugs and all types of things here that cause people to do things that, yeah. Do people own guns? Yes, they do. Hawaii is actually an open carry state, and I believe by law there is a concealed carry, but they will not authorize. They won't authorize permits. It's very rare, extremely rare. Yeah. So Hawaii, you would think Hawaii because we're typically we've been a blue state for many years, but we do have a lot of conservative minded people here. They're just laid back. Like when you're in Hawaii, you know. Daddy gang, I'm on a poor internet connection. I'm on a mobile connection, so I don't have. It may ruin the quality of the broadcast if I bring in more people. So, but you're more than welcome to chime in with comments, and maybe when I'm on my home um, computer connection, Wi-Fi, it'll be better. But I'm on a public. What do you call it? I'm on Verizon, so some places here are very spotty. So yeah, I'm a firm believer. So the Second Amendment, when we look at it, we think that it's our right to bear arms. That's partially true. The Second Amendment here is not necessarily just our right to bear arms. It's our right to have protection from the government taking away our weapons, our firearms. So there's a difference in language, right? So one says that we're not going to take away your guns. One says you have a right to own guns, but the other one leaves a door open for what type of guns we'll tell you, right? And I'm not getting political on that statement at all, but there is a difference in the language. There's people on both sides of the aisle that say, "Well, you don't need this, you don't need a gun. Once is you can't have enough." Guns by themselves are about as scary as a vehicle. I am more, to be honest with you, I'm more terrified of drivers out on the road. We have over 1 million people on this island. At any given moment, they can run over somebody and end their life. And actually, the traffic fatalities are so high in comparison to deaths that have a relation to a firearm. So, but at the end of the day, as a father and as a husband, I'm not saying that it will, but if it ever did happen where someone was trying to harm my family, it is my job and my responsibility. If I have to make a phone call and wait 10 to 15 minutes for law enforcement to come to my home and to save the life of my child or my children, I would rather have that responsibility within my grasp. You know what I mean? So in Hawaii, we're a very peaceful state. You can look at it, but there's a lot of crime here that you guys don't really know about. It's because we don't want you to know. Because the truth is, if we showed you guys all the crime that happens here, nobody would want to come here. They'd be afraid. Oh my God, you guys have crime there. You guys have gang related deaths. You guys have shootings. We had 3 shootings here in the past 45 days, and they all ended in deaths. And they were all crime related. It wasn't negligence. It wasn't, so we're not immune to, you know. What's up, Mister Two Extra? How's it? How's it? So, like I said, at the end of the day, it is my wife and my 4 children and my mother-in-law. If something were to threaten the safety or life of my family, it is my duty and my responsibility. I cannot wait 10 minutes for a cop to come to my house. And some of you guys live in rural areas where it'll take 20, 30 minutes for the closest law enforcement to come and protect you. You know what I mean? So this is not a political thing to talk about, well, gun rights and quote unquote gun violence. Well, Brett, let me clarify. The shootings were people were being robbed, and so the cops came and addressed the situation, and there was a shootout. The people with guns were not good people. So I didn't want to jump into that, but you kind of forced me to share more detail. The people with the guns were bad people. You can Google it. Hey Rita, they weren't pastors and there weren't pastors and Santa Claus and Easter bunnies with guns. There were bad people with guns, and the cops had to come and address the situation. Unfortunately, it led, you know. So, but you're right in your statement. I will tell you this: when I took the gun, it was basically a firearm safety course. What I learned was there are so many misconceptions about what a firearm is and what it does, and where I grew up in a Big Island, what I'm learning now is that so if you don't know where Big Island, the Big Island is the island where I'm from. That's where the volcanoes are. Where I grew up in that area, the drug problem is so bad there, and a lot of the residents are being robbed. There's been kidnappings and things like that. Not a lot, but more than we should have. And so there's been a lot of that. And there's people that are from there that are concerned about their safety and everything. Can you guys hear that wind? Have you killed a living meat? I have not. If you're talking about like fishing or hunting, not a human being, but I've done things to provide food for my family. Yeah, tell you a story. Um, One of my friends who did the training. Happy birthday, Rita! So my friend who did the training, one of the trainings that I attended, he said that in the state of Hawaii, we don't have what you call a stand your ground law, or we don't have what you call I think it's called a castle law. I can't remember the actual name of the law. Both laws state that if you come onto my property, I have the authority to shoot you anywhere on my property if I feel that you're a threat. The other law, stand your ground, is you're only allowed to discharge a firearm if they are uh, imposing on your space. Okay, Hawaii does not allow that. There has to be a reasonable, you have a reasonable doubt that they're trying to harm you. So if a guy is walking with his hands occupied on a television, you cannot shoot the guy. You can't shoot somebody because they're carrying a TV out of your home. If the guy is running away from you and you identify yourself, you tell him, and he runs away, you cannot shoot the guy in the back. Now, here's an interpretation of the law. In your mind, if you don't know what he's going to do, and in your mind at that moment, you're thinking, is he going to go to my kid's bedroom? What is his intentions? So, if he's running away from you, but there's three bedrooms where all three of your children are all under 10 years old, whatever age they are, and if you feel that he's a threat and you do shoot him in the back, at that moment, if you're thinking that he's going to harm them, that is considered a good shoot. And that's, of course, that in a court of law, of course, they're going to do some crazy asking questions, psychology, and all that stuff. So it all goes to that to me, what we call as a father is it my right? Is it my duty to protect my family? What the reason why I brought that up, Shirley, is that it happened, and the guy that was shot, he was armed, and so it was considered a good shoot after they questioned the person discharging a firearm, because as a father, he did not know what the guy's intention. Even after he told him he like get on the ground, he gave him instructions, and the guy did not stop. Now, had it been outside of the home, I'm sure it would have been a different situation. But the way I see it, if man, if don't 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 invade anybody's house, especially when he's got kids and family. Well, I'm sure I wasn't there, but I'm sure in the court of law they what's the word, cross examine, question him, and he testified that what he was saying was the truth. I'm sure they did all the due diligence. So it could be on an assumption. Hawaii does have open carry. It is an open carry state, but they have not. They will not and probably and haven't issued any permits for that in a very long time. I think the only people that would even be allowed to would probably be retired police officers who have a very special purpose for it. It's unfortunate the guy got shot, right, Shirley? But at the same time, what in the heck are you doing in someone's house? And whether it's justified to be shot, I don't know. All I know is at the end of the day, for me personally, I cannot wait 10 to 15 minutes for law enforcement to into my home to protect my family. That's not their job. That's my job, And I will say I have gained such a huge respect for firearms, or put it this way, handguns, because I've fired hunting rifles before, and I've went hunting obviously, but handguns are a much different animal. Here in Hawaii, I don't think it's a need to carry. I think it depends on your lifestyle, and like I have a friend who's a police officer, and he's always carrying just because of what he sees out there in the streets. But you know, Brett, it always happens in places everybody thinks, oh, it's not going to happen here. This is a safe place, right? How many times have we seen that where it happens in a school or it happens in the weirdest of places? I think that's why my friend who's a law enforcement, he's a cop. I think that's why he's always carrying, even when he's off duty, just because he knows that at any given moment, I guess it makes sense. If you're a bad person, you're not going to say, "Oh, I'm not. I'm going to avoid this town. This is a good town. Let's stay out of here." I've never been a criminal, so I can't say or speak on behalf of one. But you know, the truth is, evil lurks everywhere, and I think we just choose not to see it. And people like one of my, actually my auntie, she retired from police department. They've seen it all, right? If you guys remember in Hawaii, we had one of the worst mass shootings, actually the worst mass shooting we've ever had. It was like, I don't know, 20 years ago, I think, maybe not even 20. The guy opened fire on his coworkers at Xerox. You guys ever heard of Xerox, the copy center? Yeah, he opened fire. I think he killed 7 people within a matter of minutes at a Xerox, at a copy store. Like, what the heck? It's crazy. And you think, why in the world would you open fire on a place like that? Just it boggles your mind. It really does. Well, going back to our state and how beautiful it is, it's you guys remember the TV show Hawaii Five O, the old one? That show got so much good reviews, and it was well received by local people because it actually showed Hawaii for what it was. That show, now obviously they Hollywood a lot of the some of the storylines, but the the episodes and the things that they showed, it was very accurate of what Hawaii was like during that time. As a matter of fact, my wife and I became friends with uh, a very well known hitman. He just got out of jail last year, and you guys may have heard me talk about him. But he was uh, a very notorious hitman back in the 70s and 80s. They put him away for 46 years. No, 42, 43 years. They put him away for 43 years. How I met him was he came to our Hope Center where he became a resident, and I met him and his family. But he was tied to the Hui Hui family, or they were tied to the Electrical Workers Union, and they back then they wanted to control all of the work contracts. They didn't want all the mainlanders, people from the mainland, taking all of Hawaii's work contracts. And so part of them managing all that was inflicting this. So they were part of the syndicate, and they had their own, you know, versions of it, I guess, if you will. So, but anyways, yeah, Hawaii Five O, they depicted that very well. And then the new Hawaii Five O, I think that's probably a little bit more relevant for today's times. I think COVID, they call it beautiful the waters. You know what it did was it helped our island heal a little bit. But what I will say, we had at least what 1 million people a month come to Hawaii, and if you look at if we have 1 million visitors a month, that's so much opportunity. If you're a business person, whether you're a an honest business person or if you're a shady business person, you know, I'm gonna back up. I'm in the sun. I'm trying to find some shade. flew my drone about an hour ago, and there were like there was like five helicopters, actually more than that, that flew through here. I'm like, man, I don't want to fly my drone anymore. For those that are just jumping in and watching the replay, we're at Ala Moana Beach Park. I think this is Beach Park. Magic Island is over there. I've done a couple of broadcasts out there. I've actually done a live broadcast out there before. I can't go live on my drone just yet um, until HAPS supports the software that DJI has. So we shall see. Hopefully my audio is good. I'm wearing a mic. All right, it is 1:42 p.m. So in about 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to end the broadcast and I'm going to do some edits for my TikTok and on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, it's the real Greg Lopez. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. Shoot, the wife is calling, texting. All right, guys, I think I better go. My wife is calling. I probably got to pick up my mother-in-law. Thank you for subscribing. Valgeta Kroski. I hope I said it right. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a blessed week so far. It is Wednesday. I'm probably going to come back on another platform and just kind of share my heart a little bit. But if I don't see you guys on my next broadcast, guys, as I always say, thank you for being here. Thank you for carving out time of your day just to share. And I hope to see you guys on my next one. But if not, love you guys. God bless you guys. Ahui ho. Aloha and mahalo. Chew. All right, guys. Aloha.